Stapleton here for IrishBoxing.com with Eddie Ahern, as he's known now.
Yeah,
Bertie's brother. Where to start, even just initially just about the show first, a few announcements on it. It's got bigger and better.
Yeah, I wanted to, obviously we're in a much bigger arena. We sold out the National Stadium in like an hour or something like that. Only a couple of thousand tickets. We set up for about 6,000 here. I was under a lot of pressure from the social networks to do Tim's against Sweeney. So I wanted to make that, and I'm glad I did. It was fun. Spike against Fitz is a great little fight. Highland against Simpson, I think, is a wonderful fight. And it was great getting John Joe Nevin in his first fight in Ireland on the show as well. So it's a really big card. Cowie FI, one of our boys as well, Sam Eggington, probably a couple of other Matchroom boys have to stick on the card as well. So probably 11 fights and a huge night on November the 15th.
And you were saying previously you probably would have had to bring Joshua over for the Sky ratings, and that was important. Is Eggleton the Joshua in that case, or do you think the card is big enough now?
I think Macklin on the card is the draw. Joshua would have certainly helped that, but now you've got John Joe Nevin. You've got a couple of other credible fights as well. I think before it was about Joshua, Macklin, and Spike. From a mainstream audience, wasn't really, but I think it's more about the atmosphere we're trying to create here. We was in Leeds recently, and Sky left and just went, wow, that was unbelievable. And I feel as though we're going to get the same kind of atmosphere here, maybe even better. But
yeah, when you think about there's going to be domestic rivalry, so it's going to.
There's a lot on the line, and there hasn't been boxing here for 5 years, so I think people are going to get behind it. We've seen already with the pre-sale stuff in the box office this morning. It's going well. I think we'll fill it. And it'll be a big coup for us, really. And I think, particularly bringing John Joe Nevin, I think that was important as well to add to the quality. Tim's against Sweeney, it's a great little dust-up, but Nevin's bringing the name and probably a little bit more to the casuals as well, who want to see him fight, and also hopefully get Jason Quigley on.
Are you talking with Golden Boy?
Yeah, he fights on the 30th of October.
In Boston.
Yeah, so he's got 2 weeks, but they're desperate to be on. And I've said, listen, we'll hold a slot for you. Hopefully you get the win and you can come on the card.
If you were to be here regular, do you think you could use Nevin and Quigley?
Absolutely, yeah. Listen, I mean Nevin particularly, Tom Moran's been on at me for the last week. They really, really wanted to box here, and so they should. This is like the first big show in a long time. And he's boxing over in America, which is great, but ultimately could be a big market for him. So he's looking to come here, sell a lot of tickets and put in a good performance.
And talking about good performance, you were saying on the top table, victories for Spike or Fitzy, or victories for any of the, there's maybe Warrington for Highland down the line if he wins.
Listen, I'm happy to put the winner of Highland and Simpson in with Warrington. I think it's a good fight, and that's a real credible fight in the division. Definitely Spike against Fitz. That's a fight which in a bustling middleweight division. We're looking to come back here, so it's not a case of do one show and then forget about it. It's do this, come back in the spring, and all the winners will step up and be in bigger fights. So massive opportunities, particularly for Spike and Fitz in that fight.
Have you got a lot of Irish fighters onto you now?
It's been non-stop. There's only so many we can put on, but anyone who's fighting in Ireland will want to be a part of this show, because there just isn't enough fights here. So we've put this card on, it's packed from head to toe, and really want people to get behind it and start a new era for Irish boxing, because I think you're going to see it. Because I think if we can create something special, have some great fights on the card, get that great atmosphere that we see here for the darts and other events, we will be returning.
Were you ever here for a Bernard Dunn fight?
No, I wasn't, no. But I've been here for the darts. It's absolutely mental. But I expect the same on the night for the boxing, I do. I think people will get behind it. I think it will grow and grow over the next 5 weeks. People will get very excited about the show.
And then just a word on Matthew and Matthew's situation, the world title eliminator.
Yeah, so listen, this fight, he looked rusty against Yabez. He's been out, he hasn't boxed this year, so he was going to be, and I'm really glad he had that fight, because I think that performance against Highland wouldn't have been enough to get him the win. Highland is a proper fighter, he's ranked 4 in the WBC, he's the international champion. Matthew's got it all to do, and he must win this fight. I can't stress how important it is to win this fight for his career. He wants to fight for the world title, but if he can't beat Highland, he won't get that shot. But if he can come here, put in a great performance, you know what kind of fight it's going to be with Matthew, and Highland's the same kind of fighter. So it's going to be a war. And if he can get a great atmosphere, we can bring big fights here.
And is with Lee fighting for the WBO title, is that still a possibility?
Yeah, I think they're talking about that fight in America now.
December,
So, listen, it's a very tough fight for Andy Lee. but I hope he wins it, because that Macklin against Lee for a world title is huge. Macklin against Lee regardless is huge. And I think that'll get made whatever happens, but hopefully Andy Lee can do the business in America.
Would you be targeting to bring Matthew towards Andy Lee, saying that's an easy way to get a world title fight, or would you like to have a belt for Matthew going into that
I
fight?
don't think, I mean, all that talk is nice to get a belt, otherwise they don't happen, do they? If someone's got a belt, you're a challenger, you have to take that on the chin, you know. But Andy's got a really tough fight against Korobov, hopefully he can do the business, but win or lose, the fight with Macklin is always there, and I think it'll always do big business here.
And just, you can't come to Ireland without us asking you about Carl Frampton and Scott Quigg. I presume they've asked you already, have they?
Yeah, I had a couple of chats. I spoke to Jake McGuigan and Blaine McGuigan last week. I think they'll fight Avalos. Pretty sure about that. Yeah, I think they'll want to get that out of the way. You know, Avalos wants the fight. He's waited. You know, they've got the injury, so it's probably February. You know, and obviously I'm involved in those negotiations with Avalos, and you know, it's my job to get the best deal possible for Chris Avalos.
Does that make it harder for you to make Quigg Frampton?
I think that fight just happens regardless. If you really want it, it gets made. It's not really. Look, I'm sure Barry McGuigan. I'm not on Barry McGuigan's Christmas card list, but I ain't got to be. It's not about me. It's not about Barry McGuigan. It's about Quigg and Frampton. Let them fight. Let them earn the money. But you know, I've got a job to do as Avalos' advisor to get him the best financial deal possible. You know, and probably the route for him is just to see what the offer is. And if you don't like it, go to purse bids, because he doesn't have to control his rights. You know, in a purse bid situation, if you're a Sky fighter or you've got an existing contract with a broadcaster and a future with them, you want to hold on to your own rights. But if you don't care, like Avalos, he just says, listen, there's obviously a little bit of animosity here, throw it all in the middle, whoever bids the most, I'm happy. So, you know, I'm sure we'd bid, I'm sure...
Well, personally, would you like to have Frampton fight on Sky?
Yeah, listen, I mean, I've always wanted Carl Frampton to fight on Sky. Unfortunately, it wasn't rated that great. I mean, like the Box Nation numbers for his fight against Kiko Martinez is, I mean, it's tough reading, you know, but ultimately, Frampton is a great fighter, and the draw and the atmosphere in Belfast is magnificent. So from a TV spectacle, the problem we had before was we couldn't do it every 2 or 3 months in Belfast, because it was expensive from a production standpoint, and also it wasn't rated. So that's why I tried to throw him in different cards. Remember when we were building him up, we were going Nottingham and shit, you know. And then eventually the Hull was where I wanted to get him out, because that was the only place I could get him out. But he wanted to box in Belfast, but we'd already been there in the February. We couldn't go in May or June. Now he's fighting much less frequently, and he's a world champion. Of course, I'd like to have him on the channel, and maybe that happens via me. You know, I don't know his TV situation with Box Nation. Maybe that happens by me purchasing the rights, or maybe that happens by me winning the purse bids. You know, either way. But I'm not looking to be difficult with Avalos' situation. I've just got a job to do to advise Avalos. My main ambition and target is to make Quigg Frampton.
And are you
I'm
anywhere?
pretty sure that fight will happen by the summer of next year. I really believe it will, because Carl's a smart guy. You know, he knows that fight's got to happen. So, and I think it will.
Okay, appreciate talking to you.
Cheers, mate. Good to see you.
Thanks.